is William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We are here at the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board meeting, the agency known as DART to Dallas, Texas residents. As a service to the Dallas community, we plan to cover DART board meetings from gavel to gavel. Public comments are required to keep DART board aware of issues close to the ridership that they may not get through other resources.
Oh, okay.
Now that's an interesting whatnot. The other media is being waved in there and not going through security checks. This is going to be interesting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're down here at the DART office. They are about to get slam dunk with about 50 people who are now protesting for the Cotton Belt.
It'll be like,
So that's about it. We're cleared through security anyway, so it doesn't matter. And at 6 o'clock, we'll go and set up, and we'll give you the full heads up on DART.
Well, good evening, and welcome to the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board of Directors meeting. It is now 6:33 p.m., and we will begin our meeting of September 27th, 2016. And I want to welcome each of you. It's great to have a full house. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our September 6th meeting. Do we have a motion? And a second? Okay, so no changes to the minutes. They will stand as written. The next item on the agenda is the CAC report. Good evening, sir.
Thank you, Chair. CAC been busy with everything going on at DART. We had a very informative and an excellent presentation about the upcoming legislative session in Austin and how the CAC members can contact their representatives and senators and promote the work of DART with these representatives. We also established 2 task forces, one to consider the D2 and the second one to consider the Cotton Belt line, and we're hoping that at the next meeting we'll have the resolutions from those 2 task forces as to what the feeling of the CAC is regarding these 2. I want to point out one of the challenges that we have from the very beginning. When I started as chair in January, it's been ever since that we don't have a full house at CAC, and I've been encouraging in every report and written report that we need the vacancies filled, and only you as the board members can do that. We still have 2 or 3 openings on the CAC, and it would really help us if you can appoint the members. The advisories and the updates on our issues or that we have observed are presented in the written report, and also the Cotton Belt meetings, public meetings, were attended by many of our CAC members, and we have attached a report about their impressions of these meetings and what they saw and what they felt and how we can do a better job for the community. I'll be happy to answer any questions and welcome your comments or questions and encourage you to give us feedback.
Thank you, Mr. Goyle. And to the board members, Mr. Goyle asked that I mention to you all that if you have any suggestions for the CAC, to please let him know, okay? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is public comments, and general public comments will be allowed at the beginning of each DART board meeting for a total of 30 minutes. And again, at the end of the meeting, when the 30-minute period does not accommodate all persons who have signed up to speak. Individuals who have addressed the board in the past 30 days will be recognized to speak during the public comment period at the end of the meeting. During the public comment period, board members may not interact with the speakers or other board members by asking questions or offering their own comments. Members of the public are reminded that their behavior during DART board meetings is governed by the DART Board Code of Conduct for citizens, news media, and visitors. Personal attacks, impertinent and slanderous remarks, and boisterous conduct will not be allowed. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. The green light on the podium indicates when you can begin, the yellow light indicates you have 1 minute remaining, and the red light indicates the time has expired. I think we have a total of 19 speakers, so we'll try and get through as many as possible during the first 30 minutes, and then we will finish up toward the end of the meeting. Fortunately, we don't have a very long agenda tonight, so we will be able to get to the second half fairly quickly. The first speaker we have is the Mayor of Addison, Mayor Todd Meyer.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to chat with you all. I feel like I've gotten to know you over the last really several years visiting with you all, so thank you for the opportunity. First I'd like to do is recognize the folks that you probably notice in the room here with us in the yellow shirts are all very supportive of your efforts to bring the Cotton Belt finally to fruition. So you'll probably hear from several of them, but wanted to recognize that, and also my council colleagues that are here this evening because we rescheduled our normally scheduled council meeting, which would be taking place right now, so that we could all be here tonight and share with you our enthusiastic support of moving forward on the Cotton Belt. As you probably know, the Cotton Belt has been around since 1890. And since 1890, it's been a very important part of the North Texas regional economy. And you have an opportunity to revitalize that Cotton Belt and again, reinvent it, rejuvenate it, and make it again a very important part of the North Texas economy. And I really want to emphasize that and not talk about, surprisingly, Addison so much, but more the regional component and aspect of what this is all about. When Addison joined in 1983 with the other member cities, we took our Addison hat off and put a regional hat on. And we said we were willing to share the pain for a shared gain. And now, 30 plus years later, we feel like it's our opportunity to share in the gain. And you are in the unique position to do that. Because obviously I wear my hat as the mayor of Addison. But each of you, while you may be appointed by member cities, when you walk through that door, you put on a hat of regional responsibility. And you lay those other hats aside. And given that context, I think you recognize, I know I've been to your meetings and you know there's this window of opportunity that we're in right now, where we can make that regional aspect of DART really come to life. So I'd ask each of you to keep that regional hat on, look inside your conscience, your good thinking, your spirit of community service, which brought you to those chairs to start with, and embrace the Cotton Belt. We feel like it's time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Meyer. The next speaker we have is the mayor from the city of Richardson, Mayor Paul Volcker.
I want to thank the DART board for allowing me to speak. The mayor and I were just at your whole committee meeting. He he allowed me to speak first, and now I get to follow him. So, like he said in that meeting, I did owe what he just said. I have two documents that I'd like to share with you tonight. One is a letter dated today to the board from myself as the mayor. The other is dated yesterday, which is a resolution from my entire city council with respect to the Cotton Belt and the D2 planning process that's underway. So I'll leave those with you. But I'd also like to just mention and speak briefly as to my support, as the mayor of Addison just said, and I'm sure maybe you've all seen the op-ed in the Dallas Morning News from the mayor of Plano, the mayor of Addison, and myself in Richardson. We really do view this as a regional initiative, one that benefits all of North Texas. Yes, we're a member city that has the opportunity to have possibly 2 stations on that Cotton Belt line. But we're also a member city, like Addison, that's been in this group since 1983. I think we're also a showcase for what DART can do to a community. If you look at the exciting developments we have along the Red Line, specifically now the latest with this City Line development, I can't think of a more powerful example of what transit-oriented development, a real multimodal strategy, can do for a community. And I look forward to expanding that exciting destination, employment center, residential environment, entertainment center, a center that you can eat around the world at, expanding that with the Cotton Belt to our friends in UTD along that line. But it's more than just Richardson, as Todd said, it's more than just Addison. I look forward to being able to drive my car, literally, from my house, 1.5 miles into Plano, get on the end of the line, and go all the way to downtown Fort Worth. It's not about just getting to the airport. It's about that regional connectivity. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you, sir.
And
Our next speaker is the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem from Addison, Ivan Hughes.
Thank you for the chance to be here tonight. I'd like to echo and build on, amplify the enthusiasm that our mayor voiced. When I've spoken with a number of our people in Addison, and I've been in many, many, many conversations about the Cotton Belt, it's of keen interest to our folks. Our folks are enthusiastic about what the Cotton Belt can do for Addison and for the region. We're enthusiastic about the economic development that we believe would come to us and to the region. We do take note that cities around us use their sales tax for economic development. We don't, and so we're counting on the Cotton Belt to provide that to us. So that's point one. Point two, when I talk to people about the area and their concerns, the strategic concern is congestion. We see in the Dallas Morning News that 6 to 10 people an hour are coming to the north area. We see traffic increasing, apartments going up all around, and the only solution, or one of the only effective solutions that people ever mention, is the Cotton Belt and DART. So we are very enthusiastic supporters of DART. We'd like to see the Cotton Belt for that reason. And finally, the last point I would make, which is really Addison-centric, so moving from the region to Addison, and that is that the feeling of our citizens is that the cost-benefit ratio for having bus service without rail, without having the Cotton Belt, is too high. And there's a growing impatience there, and that's why there's a group here. So the messages I want to give are, number one, enthusiastic support for DART and a belief in the regional system, and an appeal to help us get the economic development, the relief for congestion, and the growth for the area that we think this can provide. So please approve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Addison City Council Member Paul Walden.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Director. board members. My name is Paul Walden, and I just wanted to, again, echo the previous speaker's comments and share with you a little bit of philosophy from the great philosopher Yogi Berra, who said one time, it's like deja vu all over again. And I say that from a personal perspective in that I had the opportunity to serve the Community of Farmers Branch as a city councilman when this board was making another strategic decision, the Green Line, the Burlington Northern versus the Union Pacific, the light rail versus commuter rail. And I'm happy to say and look back at that time, which is much like this time in that it's an exciting time. It's a time of anxiety. It's a time that our community has been looking forward to with great anticipation for many years. And that board made the right decision. They used the UP alignment. They used light rail. That's a success story. I'm just asking y'all to do the right thing again. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker, Addison City Council Member Bruce Austin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity. The thunder has been stolen a little bit because I wanted to speak a lot about regionalism tonight because everybody knows how important the Cotton Belt is to Addison. We've been the faithful members since the very beginning, and we've been a good partner. We've paid our fair share. But it is about much more than Addison. It's about everything along that Cotton Belt. It's about connecting to the Tex Rail, to Mayor Volker's comments about going to Fort Worth. That's what we need to bring this region together as one region, not a bunch of individual cities, because we are a region. And regional projects are difficult sometimes. They're challenging. There's some pain involved sometimes. If you look back 40-some years ago, there was a little project called DFW Airport. That was challenging. It was difficult. But it took some courage for the folks who were involved in that to make the right decisions to do that. And even on subsequent expansions of DFW Airport since then, there's been more pain, and there was more courage that was necessary to accomplish those things. And our region would not be what it is today if it were not for DFW Airport. The Cotton Belt is critical. It's a critical part of this. When you look at the fastest growing part of our region right now in Collin County, far north Dallas area, it's exploding. We need to figure out a way, looking forward at congestion. That's a problem now. 20, 30 years from now, we can't imagine what it's going to be like. How many cars can we possibly get off the road? That needs to be our goal. Get the cars off the road as much as we can. It's fantastic that DFW Airport has the terminal for the rail, for DART rail. Fantastic. The folks that live in the northern suburbs of Dallas are not going to use it. If you have to get on a train and it's going to take you an hour and a half to get to the terminal, they're not going to go there. So it's never going to be used by them. The east-west connection is critical. And I know there's been plenty of comments from folks that live along in the North Dallas area that are opposed to this. And I get it, I understand it. But if you buy a house by a railroad, you have to expect that there's going to be trains on it. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. I own a home at the north part of Addison. I live next to Addison Airport. On the other side of me is Trinity Christian Academy. When I bought my home, I expected that I would hear some airplane noise and Friday night football. Guess what? I hear both. That was my choice because I bought my home there. It's critical that we get Cotton Belt going sooner, much sooner rather than later. And it needs to leave the station, and as the poster on the back of the wall says, it needs to move forward and get this thing going. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. The next speaker, council member from the town of Addison, Dale Wilcox.
This needs to be a little taller, I think. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you. I come to you in front of you as a person who was born in Methodist Hospital across the river, has been a lifelong Dallasite, I've lived in the Lakewood area. I've lived in the Abrams Mockingbird area. I've lived in Addison. I've lived outside of Lake Highlands. Have lived most recently, of course, in Addison. And I have seen a variety of, in my lifetime, I recall when public transportation in Dallas was not public, it was private, it was electric. I've seen the bus systems and I've seen light rail. I can remember when I missed a ride from high school having to take the transportation system because of the hub and spoke nature, which we still seem to have, of the transit system, having to travel all the way from LBJ and Inwood down to downtown, walk a few blocks, wait 45 minutes, grab another bus that went out to Lakewood, and we're perpetuating that. It's 40 years, some years later, I'm sorry to have to admit, and we're still doing the same thing. We need east-west transit, and I think we've done pretty much all that can be done, almost, with LBJ. You guys are visionaries. One way or another, based on your vote, we're going to have a vision, and it's going to come to fruition. And it's either going to be some reasonable east-west capabilities or no east-west capabilities. I'd like to emphasize that there are really two votes there, or really two possibilities. One is phase one up to Addison, and possibly phase two beyond. And I appreciate the time going over, but the other vision would be something I don't think any of us wants to see, but Addison has about 3.4 square miles that is non-airport. During the next 30 years, if we think about $300 million that could go to DART versus what the city of Addison could do with $300 million plus in 3.4 square miles, that's a considerably different vision, and I don't think that's a vision you guys want to see happen. So I hope you stand by your original intentions and promises. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker, a former council member, Blake Clemens.
Thank you, board members, for allowing me to speak. Last time I was here, I talked about Addison specific. Our $250 million contributed to DART. Tonight I'm here on behalf of the MetroCrest Chamber, and we're going to stay with this regionalism. And the board has asked me of the chamber represents Addison, Farmers Branch, and Carrollton. They've asked me to read their statement on their behalf into the record for tonight. So here it goes. Good evening, my name is Blake Clemens. I am standing in tonight to speak on behalf of MetroCrest Chamber of Commerce President Erin Carney, as she could not be here tonight. The purpose of the MetroCrest Chamber of Commerce is to create an economic prosperity for our members by providing programs, resources, and support that assist and benefit business, government, and citizens, resulting in a vibrant place to live and work. Supporting the Cotton Belt commuter line is at the intersection of business, government, and citizens, and will strengthen the business communities we serve: Addison, Carrollton, and Farmers Branch, and by extension, North Texas. Of the 3 member cities we represent, Addison is the only one not yet served by light rail, even though they have been a member city since the inception of DART. North Texas is comprised of 12 counties, 150 cities, 9,000 square miles, and 7.1 million people. North Texas is the 4th largest region in the USA. It is estimated that by 2050, North Texas population will be over 16.5 million people. Chambers today often struggle to remain relevant. Cities can at times struggle with the same issues. We are blessed to live in a state that provides opportunities to work, play, and live all within a reasonable distance from one another. The growing strain on our infrastructure will only continue to be burdened as Texas expands. Our healthy economy, friendly lifestyle, and strong business climate are the driving forces bringing new people, our business communities, and required to attract and retain both businesses and citizens in our region. I'm going to skip just to the bottom here. On behalf of the MetroCrest Chamber, we encourage you to support the Cotton Belt as quickly as possible for the benefit of all North Texas. Sincerely, Aaron Carney. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Dr. Calvin Jamison from the University of Texas at Dallas. Hello, sir.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, Mr. President, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on behalf of UT Dallas. Our president, I'm going to read a letter on his behalf. I'm Calvin Jameson, Vice President for Administration at UT Dallas, and I'd like to just read this letter for the purposes of the record. On behalf of the University of Texas at Dallas, I'm writing to you today to indicate our institution's strong support for the development of the full corridor Cotton Belt Line project by 2022. Specifically, I would like to urge that the board take action at its upcoming meetings on two critical steps. One, adopt a 2016-2017 fiscal year budget that allocates appropriate funding to advance the planning, engineering, and pursuit of funding assistance that will support full corridor development of the Cotton Belt Line by 2022. And two, adopt a 2017 financial plan, or DART's new 20-year financial plan that appropriately plans for and allocates ample funding to ensure the Cotton Belt Rail Line's full corridor development by 2022. As you know, our campus is slated to host a future station along the Cotton Belt Rail Line. This future station and the related development of the full corridor Cotton Belt Rail Line will be a positive development not only for our university, but also for all of North Texas. As a rapidly growing science, engineering, and technology-focused institution, UT Dallas is truly an ideal location for a DART station. Just last month, we welcomed a record 26,700 students to campus, an enrollment figure that has nearly doubled over the past decade. Additionally, UT Dallas is one of Richardson's 5 largest employers with approximately 3,500 employees. That's nearly 30,000 individuals and greatly enhances the region overall. I will summarize this by saying, at the end of the day, students who land at DFW will be able to catch the DART to UT Dallas, get off of the DART, check into either a hotel or place of residence, and go across the street to classes. We have had for DART in the last 4 years, ridership has gone from 700,000 annual riders to 1.3 million, with the fastest growing membership of persons who are riding the DART station itself. And of the 21 Fortune 500 companies headquartered in the Richardson, North Texas area, of that number, 20 recruit our students on our campus. And I think my time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We have time for about 2 more speakers, and then we'll take care of our agenda. The next speaker we have is Martin Malloy, representing the Richardson Chamber of Commerce.
Madam Chairman and board members, thank you for letting me speak. I'm here for the Richardson Chamber. I'm on the board of directors. Ken Hutchenreiter, our chairman, would have been here, but he had a staff meeting. And I know Ken spoke when you came on August 24th to Richardson for the summit. We want to report that thanks to strong private sector job development in our telecom corridor, we've added thousands of jobs in Richardson. Our vacancy rates are way down. We're in active mode of redevelopment. I know another speaker here, Philip Strong from City Line, is a wonderful example of transit-oriented development, developing 2.6 million square feet of office on that station up there, and the residential and retail and such. It is a rapidly growing and booming area. We are so proud of University of Texas at Dallas, too, and who are great transit users, even on the system we have. We think that when the DART system was first put together in 1983, the cities, Addison, North Dallas, Carrollton, Farmers Branch, Plano, and Richardson were really northern tier cities. But now they're more like heartland cities. As the center of mass is moving north and the growth. And we think this corridor is hugely important to develop and to take advantage into the future. We think that Cotton Belt represents an opportunity we need to take. This is a decision that has the region's long-term interest in mind. It's a decision that has been in the works for decades and that we've leaned into for many years. It is a foundation for sustained growth in this great region. We strongly support the Cotton Belt. On behalf of the Chamber, we encourage you to support the Cotton Belt as well and to get it done as quickly as possible for the benefit of all North Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker, Mr. Philip Strong, representing State Farm. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today to speak about the Cotton Belt Rail Line. I'm Philip Strong, Assistant Vice President, State Farm Insurance at City Line in Richardson, Texas. And I'm here today to share with you that State Farm supports construction of the Cotton Belt Line and the efforts to accelerate implementation of this very important project. State Farm has had a long history of being in the Dallas area. And one of the reasons why we located our new corporate campus here was because of the access to multimodal transportation options. When we finish construction next year, we will have approximately 10,000 employees in the greater Metroplex. Access to commuter rail, as well as major highways, and even bike trails were all important attributes as we consider the site for a new facility. In fact, we have two other similar projects, one in Phoenix, and we have one in Atlanta, in the metropolitan areas, where transportation is equally an important factor in us locating there. So our employees here come from all over the Metroplex. Therefore, we see commuter rail as an important ingredient because it connects employees in ways that no other form of transportation can. In addition, commuter rail provides access to a wider range of candidates for employment, many of whom make personal choice not to own a car because it fits their lifestyle, or they choose to forego this expense for some other reason. Because of this, commuter rail offers more than just transportation mobility. It provides economic mobility. In short, the Cotton Belt expansion from North Dallas to DFW International Airport to Fort Worth can further spur growth, economic benefits, and opportunities to others. Therefore, we support this effort and appreciate your consideration to expedite implementation of the Cotton Belt Rail Line as it benefits the entirety of the Metroplex. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, sir. We're going to pause with the public comments and take care of our voting items we need to get done tonight, but it shouldn't take us very long, so if you guys would just be patient with us, we'll get back to public comments. The next item on the agenda came from the Budget and Finance Committee. Mr. Hayden, if you would please take item number 4, which is the same night item.
You bet. Item number 4 came to the Budget and Finance Committee is for the deferral of the adoption of the FY 2017 20-year financial plan until October 25th, 2016. It was moved to the Committee of the Whole, and I move for its approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 4. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposes? Okay, the item passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda, item number 5, which came through the Budget and Finance Committee also. Mr. Hayden.
Item 5 is for approval of the fiscal year 2017 annual budget. It was approved unanimously through the Committee of the Whole, and I move for approval here.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 5. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposes? Okay, item number 5 passes unanimously. Item number 6, same night item, came through the Rail Program Committee. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Madam Chair. Approval of an interlocal agreement for shared service with Denton County Transportation Authority. That resolution was passed out on our Committee of the Whole and was passed unanimously, and I move approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and that's for the blue sheet, right?
Yes.
Okay, for item number 6, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Okay, the item passes unanimously. Item number 7 came through the Operations, Safety, and Security Committee. It's the same night item. Mr. Carazales has left, so can you take that, please? Mr. Hayden, since you already have the mic, go ahead and take number 7.
Sure. Item 7 is for the approval of the contract to repair the light rail vehicle LRV number 157 and authority to pay the insurance policy deductibles. It also came through the Committee of the Whole unanimously, and I move for its approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 7. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes? Okay, the item passes unanimously. Items 8 and 9 came through the Rail Program Committee. Mr. Slagle, can you take both of those?
Yes, ma'am. Approval of First Amendment to the interlocal agreement between Dallas Area Rapid Transit and the City of Dallas, Texas for Union Station to Oak Cliff Streetcar operation and maintenance. Move approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 8. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes? Okay, item number 8 passes unanimously.
Item number 9 is declaration of sale of surplus easement rights located at Denton Drive and Wyndham Street to Southwest Airlines for a pedestrian bridge in the City of Dallas. I move approval.
Okay, motion and a second for item number 9. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes? Okay, item number 9 passes unanimously. Okay, items 10, 11, 12, and 13 all came through the Planning Committee. Ms. Moreno-Cross?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 10, approval of supplemental shuttle service funding agreement with the City of Dallas and Downtown Dallas, Inc. I move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second for item number 10. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes? Okay, item 10 passes unanimously.
Item number 11, approval of the site-specific shuttle funding agreement with the City of Richardson to provide service from Gallatin Park Station. And number 12, approval of the contract option for data collection service. I move approval for both items.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for items 11 and 12. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Okay, 11 and 12 passes unanimously. Item number 13, also Ms. Moreno-Cross.
Approval of the final recommendation for October 2016 TRE service and modification. I also move approval on this item.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for item number 13. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes? Okay, item 13 passes unanimously. Okay, that concludes our business agenda for tonight, so we can get back to our public comments. Our next speaker is LaRuth Morrow from the Reservation Neighborhood Association.
Yes, my name is LaRuth Morrow. I'm president of the Neighborhood Association for Estates North. We are affectionately called the Reservation. The residents in the 766 homes are mostly professional people of a variety of ages, but in the last few years we've had an influx of very young professionals. The local elementary school is at a capacity even after adding classrooms 2 years ago. We are brimming with a future population and the need for additional public rail transportation. A majority of these neighbors fly in and out of DFW, whether it's for personal or business reasons. Transportation via air is abundant. Transportation to and from DFW is limited and expensive. Family, friends, and business associates coming to Richardson via DFW impact the majority of us. Their transportation options are exactly the same as ours, cars or buses. The Orange Line is too slow for us to use from Richardson. We need the Cotton Belt now. These same visitors utilize DART for destination points after they get here, especially if it involves their children and their grandchildren. So I can assure you the reservation will use both the Cotton Belt and D2 as soon as it is built. I would like to speak to you for just a moment as a world traveler. My husband and I have traveled all over the world for both personal and business reasons. This has enriched my life with more of an inclusive view of the world. When Richard used a personal car service, the one-way cost to DFW was $80. 2 years ago, we rode the Orange Line from Arapahoe Station for the senior rate of $250, but in 1.5 hours. The Cotton Belt will deliver at approximately the same cost, but in 1/3 of the time. DFW is one of the few major airports in the world without extensive and fast rail transportation. And incidentally, in the last 15 years, 99% of our international travel was in association with UTD. This university houses several small businesses within world participation. The Quest Forum, an international consortium of telecom companies, still houses this company and their data and staff at UTD. Several times the forum elected not to come to Richardson because of the lack of rail transportation from DFW to UTD and our area hotels. At most other international cities where we've been, Beijing, Tokyo, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Brussels, Paris, Madrid, Stockholm, Berlin, Rome, Budapest, we had access to rail, and we always used it.
Ms. Morrow, we appreciate you coming, but your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jeremy Thomason from the Canyon Creek Homeowners Association.
Madam Chairman, board members, first I want to commend you on the first part of that agenda. That was very impressive how fast you went through that. Hope Paul was taking notes. My name is Jeremy Thomason. I'm the president of the Canyon Creek Homeowners Association in Richardson. Our HOA board represents just over 2,800 homes. We border the Cotton Belt Railway, and the line traverses the northwest section of our neighborhood. I live approximately 700 feet from the Cotton Belt. Our HOA board unanimously supports the funding and the development of the Cotton Belt line by 2022. Our board has been actively involved in the conveyance of our support for many years. We are very much aligned with the vision with the Cotton Belt as an economic engine and the fulfillment of what was promised to us in 1983. Canyon Creek was established in 1961 and is a quiet neighborhood blessed with a strong sense of community, mature trees, caring and active neighbors, and great schools. We have a diverse mix of original residents, empty nesters, young and older families, and singles. We believe that the long-awaited Cotton Belt will be a tremendous asset to our neighborhood and our region. Our residents look forward to traffic-free train rides to and from the airport and downtown events. I personally look forward to walking to the UTD station from my house in my weekly trips to DFW for work, or with my 10 and 12-year-old sons to connect with the Red Line to go to the Maverick and Star games. We are excited by the prospect of having the Cotton Belt rail line and the DFW Metroplex in the relatively near term. On behalf of the Canyon Creek HOA Board and the 10,000 residents that we represent, I strongly encourage you to support the funding and the development of the Cotton Belt rail line from City Line and beyond to the east and DFW and beyond to the west. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Jamie Jolly. Following Ms. Jolly is Ms. Phyllis Silver.
Thank you for your time. I am Jamie Jolly, President and CEO of the Plano Chamber of Commerce. As you are all aware, we are a DART member city that has dedicated 1 cent sales tax to the agency for the last 20-plus years to help fund mass transit in the region. Our chamber has supported DART over the years and encouraged our citizens to vote to remain in DART during withdrawal elections. We have also supported the development of the Cotton Belt rail line for years now, and we continue that support today for the betterment of the region. We appreciate DART's efforts to identify a creative solution to deliver the Cotton Belt in a more timely fashion. We strongly urge you to include funding in DART's budget to continue the planning and the engineering work required to make the Cotton Belt rail line a reality by 2022. The Cotton Belt rail line was originally pledged to our communities in DART's 1983 service plan with an in-service date that would have been prior to 2010. Due to economic hardships, there was a delay. But now is the time to stop any further delays. Plano's flourishing business community depends on reliable transportation options in order to move workers across the Metroplex in a timely fashion. With 20,000 plus jobs being added to just one corridor within our city in the next 24 months, mobility options must include additional mass transit offerings. Again, now is the time to move forward in funding for the Cotton Belt Rail. Keep North Texas economic engine moving forward, and please act swiftly in order to keep the Cotton Belt's 2022 delivery on track. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ms. Jolly, and I apologize for not recognizing you as the Plano Chamber. The next speaker we have is Ms. Phyllis Silver from the CAC. Thank you, and followed by Fran Powell.
Thank you. I'm Phyllis Silver, and I live in Addison. And I want to, first of all, thank you very much and express my appreciation for DART's great service in Addison, and in particular at the Addison Transit Center. I look forward to seeing DART apply similar transportation principles in Addison with the Cotton Belt. The Cotton Belt is DART's only east-west train. It will serve as a link to existing DART light rail. The Cotton Belt is what we need for mobility in the northern sector and for the growth of our region. I urge the DART Board to move the Cotton Belt forward quickly so that we can be riding by 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Silver. Fran Powell, followed by John Price.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing us to be here. What do all the great cities of the world have in common? London, Milan, Paris, Washington, Moscow, Tokyo, New York. You will note that they all have complex and complete transportation systems: buses, rail, light rail. The Dallas Metroplex will never be considered a great city until it considers the growth north and solves its traffic problems of too many cars and provides an area-wide system of public transportation. Not just center out like spokes in a wheel, but connecting across communities, the cities, and the region. We cannot wait any longer. The Cotton Belt is essential to the future of the entire North Texas region and to the future of Dallas. The future is now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, John Price, followed by Christine Edens.
Madam Chair and members, I'm John Price, a resident and homeowner along with my wife in Addison since 1989. The agreement that the town of Addison made with your predecessors said if we paid the money, we would get the Cotton Belt. No one has been paying, to my knowledge, into a fund to support the construction of the D2 line, wherever that is, as Addison has paid in to DART. We've kept our promise to pay in. We've paid monthly, we've paid on time, and we've paid over $250 million to DART. You've kept the money, and I assume you've used it. So now is the time to keep your promise and move forward to build the Cotton Belt line. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Christine Edens, followed by Robert, I think this is Cacarelli? Go ahead, thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. With the growth and the jobs and the companies that we're having coming to Dallas, it's a great problem to have. However, it's imperative that we really try to reduce the congestion that we're having on our existing roadways. Even with the expansion to the fourth lanes of the DNT and President George Bush and the expansion of 635, still with the influx of companies and people we have coming into the area, our roadways just cannot keep up with the expansion and growth of our city. And the rail is an essential part of our growing city. We don't want our city, the Dallas Metroplex in general, being known first for its horrendous roads and traffic jams like some other cities are known for. We want to be known as a forward-thinking city and progressing with the development of mass transit systems to meet the demands for what is being placed on our economy and our city in general. I know Addison. I am very proud resident of Addison, and as long everybody here is a proud resident of their city, that all will benefit from this rail system. And so what I'm asking is, when we have these festivals that our cities have, they come in, like we have in Addison, we have the Kaboom Town, and we have Oktoberfest, and we have Taste of Addison. Living a mile away before I became an Addison resident, it should not take me 2 hours to get home when I live only less than a mile away from Kaboom Town. Having that rail line there will make the transit to the festivals and back home from the festivals safely. Get them here safely, get them home safely, and also improve the safety on the existing roadways so we don't have the congestion and the problems that we have. I look forward to going to the State Fair this weekend, and you better believe I'm taking the train. And I want other people within our cities to be able to come and enjoy the festivals that all these other cities are going to have by taking the rail. It's easier, it's safer. So please move forward with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Robert Ceccarelli, followed by Matt Trenchin. I hope I pronounced that close to correct. What is it? Ceccarelli.
Yeah, thank you very much, Board. My name is Robert Ceccarelli. I'm going to change the subject. What just happened last month about the homeless and the reduced bus pass. It's very extremely hurt what happened last month that was taken away from us. I'm homeless. We went from crisis before this kind of bus pass to hopefulness back to crisis. This article came out of Dawson State Jail. Ron Stretcher. It has to do with that. He said about the Dallas City Council, we're in a crisis with many people unsheltered, and they need a place to stay. We need to stay more than just patients. I'm the face of the homeless. I have several articles about in the Dallas Morning News about this. Housing and bus passes are important. What good is housing if you can't move around to get employment? Okay? And Metro Dallas Homeless Line spent a lot of time, over a year, to get this in the making. And for you to take it right underneath us after 6 months is really, really cruel. I know they needed 200 people. Only 100 people signed up for the $2 bus pass, the bus card. I got a couple of suggestions that you can get back on board ASAP. We really need it badly because 10th City is going to come up again. And there'll be about 300 more people will be looking for ways to get around. I suggest, I've talked to Cynthia Crane and Siobhan Moore of Metro Dallas Homeless Lines. They know I'm here tonight. The $2 bus passes, bus cards. You make up a lot of checks, and you hand it to Cynthia Crane and Siobhan Moore in their responsibility, so the way they'll give it to the people they know would get the most benefit out of it. I don't know if you're looking for a profit or what, but it has to come back because I was looking for work and I had to stop working or looking for work because I couldn't pay the full fare. It happens all around here. You need to know this. Also, some homeless might need a $40 monthly reduced bus pass. Hand out some of them, same thing, Cynthia Crane, for the right people, and if they don't come up with the fare money to pay you back, you can write a fare evasion ticket. All I'm saying is something that you would like for you to do the money involved in this. Like I said, Tent City's coming up. Doesn't cost a lot of money, but right now, the homeless are hurting very, very badly. I want to let you know that. I wish you talked to Cynthia Crane about what I just said. And for me, I'm at a boarding home. I have to leave. I'm going to be homeless in 2 days. I'm asking for some type of help or something where you can give me a list of the agencies where I can call around, but I'm just saying, you really, really hurt the homeless. You should have some more passion. The MDHA spent a lot of time on this, and it just took it right underneath us. Right underneath it. Really, really hurts. Thank you.
Mr. Staccavelli, while you're here, Nevin Grinnell, back in the corner with his hands up, will you talk with him for a minute, please?
Okay.
Okay,
And
thank
please,
you.
tell Cynthia Crane about this, okay? Because we really need your...
Talk to Mr. Grinnell. Okay, thank you. Our next speaker and last signed up speaker is Matt Tranchen.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. President, DART Board. My name is Matt Tranchen, and I represent Coalition for a New Dallas. We've been an organization that has spearheaded the effort to make D2 a subway, and I wanted to speak tonight to provide clarity and further understanding about why those of us who wear green are not only advocating for the D2 subway, but have opposed the construction of the Cotton Belt. And as I say that, wearing green, I'm having flashbacks of that time in college. I went to a Giants game wearing a Cowboys jersey, but I really do want this to be a constructive dialogue. I sympathize with the promise, the unfulfilled promise that was made regarding the Cotton Belt 30 years ago. But that promise, and every promise made 30 years ago, was based on projected ridership and employment figures that never came to fruition. In the 80s, when the service plan was first presented, it was predicted that in 2010, we would have 250,000 people working in the CBD of Dallas. We have less than half of that now. The ridership figures are also wildly off. It's one of the reasons why we haven't had the resources to actually construct the Cotton Belt, let alone a number of other projects. Right now, DART has one of the lowest fare block recovery ratios in the country, which means we are one of the highest and most subsidized transit agencies in the country. If we construct the Cotton Belt, it will be the most subsidized line within DART, to the tune of $20 plus per rider. Compare that to $4 and change per rider for the light rail. And so for those of us who are advocating for D2, one of our concerns is that the rating we received from the FTA last year was medium high. That was based on a financial plan that showed DART was taking on $400 million of debt over the next 5 years. If we add the Cotton Belt, that will go from $400 million to $1.5 billion. That will lower our rating and reduce our chances of securing that funding. Now, I heard earlier today that there's some confusion about whether or not D2 is related to the ILA that the city of Dallas signed off on in 1990. I want to be clear that D2 has nothing to do with ridership. The city of Dallas did not ask for D2. DART recognized the need and opportunity for D2. If we build D2, everyone wins. This is a regional project, not a city of Dallas project. We will improve and increase our capacity throughout the entire system by 100%. So as we move forward, I hope that those of you who serve on the board have the judgment to do the due diligence and recognize of the projects we're currently faced with, what are our priorities and what's the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak who did not sign up to speak? Well, having said that, our agenda is complete, our speakers are complete, and it is now 7:30 p.m. and this meeting stands adjourned.
This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We love comments. If you don't like the way DART is handling things, lay it out for everyone to see. If you like or hate this video, tell us. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, tell us. We even love it when you call. Better yet, like or follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube and get instant notices of all our videos the moment they are posted.